Hi, welcome to Universe View Odyssey channel. Pythagoras, exploring the relationship between the universe and mathematics. Galileo is said to have said, "The universe is written in the language of mathematics, and its letters are triangles, circles, and other geometric figures. Without it, there is no way for humans to understand a single letter." What on earth does this mean? Is the universe really written in mathematical language? So how do you know? Why is it like that? What on earth is the relationship between universe and mathematics? Come to think of it, Newton's famous laws of motion and the law of universal gravitation are written as formulas, and Einstein's theory of relativity is also written as the gravitational equation. Not only this, but modern physics is written entirely in esoteric mathematics. We know that Pythagoras, 572-497 B.C., who lived about 2,000 years before Galileo, claimed that all things are numbers. This means that the constituent elements of the universe are numbers, and at the same time, it means that the operating principles of all things follow mathematical laws. Perhaps he had a much more profound philosophy on mathematics than Galileo. So, if you want to find out the relationship between the universe and mathematics, it would be best to find Pythagoras first. Pythagoras was born on Samos, a small island in the Asia Minor side of the Aegean Sea, off the coast of modern-day Turkey. This island is also where Icarus in Greek mythology flew too high in the sky and fell because his wax melted. Pythagoras is actually more of a mythological figure. It is true that he was the founder of number theory and a great scholar who established the ancient, golden age of mathematics. Thanks to his genius, numbers were able to move beyond simple calculation tools and perform their own unique functions. Pythagoras is said to have studied under Thales of Miletus, the first philosopher, for many years in his youth. It is said that he traveled to Babylonia and Egypt several times. There are also claims that he went as far as India and England. In Egypt, he appears to have met with several priests who were keepers of historical records, where they discussed and studied numbers and mathematics. At that time, in Egypt, number, mathematics, and geometry were being studied early on for the practical purpose of demarcating agricultural land that would be submerged due to the floods of the Nile River. Pythagoras, having mastered several mathematical laws, returned to his hometown. He wanted to establish an academy to study mathematics and philosophy with enterprising and open-minded young people. But his hometown was not the home of the liberal atmosphere it used to be. During the period of his travels, the newly crowned despot Polycrates. He offered Pythagoras a high office and ordered him to return to Samos. However, Pythagoras is said to have sensed that this was a ruse to silence him, so he politely declined Polycrates' invitation and retreated to a cave on the outskirts of the island of Samos to begin his meditations. Around this time, a famous anecdote about Pythagoras is told. He is said to have initiated one of his boys as his first disciple. It is said that every time his student took a lecture, he gave him 3 obols, an ancient Greek silver coin equivalent to 1/6 of a drachma. 1 drachma is the equivalent of a day's wages for an ancient Greek worker. He even used his wealth to stimulate the intellectual curiosity of students who did not want to listen to lectures. One day, in an attempt to test his student, Pythagoras lied and said, "I can't continue teaching because I'm running out of money." The boy begged, "I'll pay the tuition, so please keep teaching." Realizing that he could not fulfill his wishes for learning and education, Pythagoras left his hometown, taking his mother and this disciple with him. He settled in Croton, southern Italy, which was then part of Greece. There he luckily meets his ideal benefactor. He is Milon, one of the city's wealthy and powerful men. It is said that Milon was more famous than Pythagoras, who was praised as the sage of Samos. He was a man of outstanding physique, winning the Olympic Games and the Apollo Memorial Festival 12 times. However, he was as interested in philosophy and mathematics as he was in sports, so he supported Pythagoras in creating the academia. Pythagoras formed the Pythagorean Brotherhood here and devoted himself to the study of mathematics and philosophy for over 20 years. Pythagoras' research has great significance that cannot be underestimated even from today's perspective. He discovered that numbers exist independently of the real world. Today, the mathematical community calls this number realism. He also says that he attempted a rigorous mathematical proof. He taught, "Do not dwell on past traditions or teachings, but draw conclusions based on perfect, irrefutable logic. He is also said to have emphasized, it is not myths or superstitions that rule this world, but numbers and geometry. The first person to introduce the concept of proof was Thales, the first philosopher, but it was Pythagoras and his disciples, Pythagoreans, who applied it to prove facts that were not obvious at first glance. Additionally, Pythagoras recognized early on that numbers and mathematics dominate nature, and systematically studied them. Thus, he established a mathematical view of the universe that the universe is composed of numbers and operates according to mathematical laws. Thanks for watching.